Big Boys
Big
neighborhood.
boy.
Let me tell you first off, man, this is a honor and a pleasure to do this interview. And not just because for those out there that know, they know, and for those that don't, it'll be a great introduction. But it's also just, man, the way that it was walked in. It's a brother of mine by the name of Fuzzy Fantabulous. And Fuzz is an architect of the neighborhood. And Fuzz has never brought me an artist. You know what I'm saying? Now, Fuzz worked in the business, Cash, but Fuzz ain't never brought me an artist. You know what I'm saying? So that's when I knew that you were special. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
because Fuzz don't, this ain't no favor. This ain't, he waited until you popped.
Right, yeah, he told me.
Yeah, it wasn't no early on. He didn't invite me to the studio to listen to nothing. He didn't say, Big, I got to press play. He waited until it was hot.
Yeah.
And then he came in. Jayson Cash in the neighborhood, man.
Yeah,
Welcome
yeah,
to the
man.
neighborhood, bro.
Thank you for having me.
Man, it's my pleasure, brother. How did this relationship with you and Fuzzy come together, man?
Well,
Or as we like to call him, Fuzzy Night.
Before I tell that story, I gotta say this is my Soldier Boy moment because I'm the first rapper to bring y'all back up in here.
Yeah, hello.
I'm the first.
You the first one to do what?
To bring Fuzzy back up
Yeah,
in here.
hell yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, man. Like,
Take that.
Yeah.
But nah, I met Fuzzy. I had a meeting with Capital in like 2018. So I was meeting with somebody else, and Fuzz just heard the music from the other room and walked in like, yo, what's this?
Yeah.
So
Fuzz was like, I'm about to be out the building soon. I'm taking
Yeah.
you with me.
Nah.
My man, he did one of them ditties. Like,
yeah,
come on, everybody.
I didn't know that at the time. So he comes in there and he listening to the music and he like, yo, where you from? I'm like, I'm from Carson. He like, okay, I'm from Compton. My daughter lives in Carson. I'm like, okay. So we just chopping it up. And as I'm leaving with my old manager, he get a text from Fuzz. He like, yo, I love this kid. So I'm like, he just stayed kind of tapped in. And I remember like maybe like a year after that, he hit me, was like, yo, send me some music. Now at this time, like, I've been taking the label meetings and et cetera, and they're not going through.
Right.
So somebody told me, like, man, you got to make this type of music. So he asked me to send something, and I sent him the music. He like, nah,
Stay there.
this ain't it.
Oh, really? Oh,
This
damn.
ain't it. Where that stuff,
Yeah. Hey,
where's
Fuzz
what
nice
I
guy.
heard the first time.
But he hurt your feelings, too.
Yeah. He was like, yeah.
That
was like,
he
man.
told me about an outfit one day, bro. That motherfucker like, Big, why you wearing that? Out of love, though. And I never wore that motherfucker again.
Oh, man.
Nah, yeah. He was like, yo, where that's at that I heard the first time. So I sent him one of them, the records that I really felt comfortable with. He was like, no, this is what we talking about. So I think we kept talking, and I did a freestyle up here with DJ Head and Bootleg Kev, and he seen it, and he hit me like, yo, what you doing? And at the time I was talking to a few people, and he told me a situation. I was like, yo, like I'm already about to sign a deal. It's in the works, but you ever manage anybody?
Damn.
We went out to eat maybe like 3-4 days later.
Who paid for the meal?
Fuzz did.
Good work, Fuzz.
That's
Good
right.
work.
Hey, but you know what? Fuzz so funny, and at this time I was like, all right, yeah, this gonna work because
He didn't take you to that Korean barbecue place, did he?
Nah.
Okay.
Nah, we went.
You definitely wouldn't be messing with him. He took you there.
Nah, it was funny because it reminded me of like my mom and my aunt because he ordered like a salmon salad, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't like how the salmon was cooked, and he for sure sent it back and had him recooked. I was like, oh, yeah, this family.
Oh, yeah. And Fuzz done swallowed a gang of spit by sending stuff back to the kitchen. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I was like, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Immune system built up.
I was like, yeah.
Hey, man, and Fuzz, what did you see in Jayson Cash, bro?
Yo.
Because you got to think, man, we've been in the business long enough, Fuzz,
Yeah.
where we're cluttered. And you got to see something special before, and especially what you built with your brand, bro. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? Being a connector for real. What did you see in Jayson Cash that was special?
As a person, I just liked what he stood for. Like, I just felt like he wasn't on no BS. I seen how he interact with other people. He's always talking about his family.
Yeah,
and
man.
the character of it was like plus
Yeah.
for me. Like, I'm like, oh, he's not gonna be a headache, right? So then the second part was the music. I'm like, oh, I know what Carson is.
Mm-hmm.
Parker lives in Carson. I'm in Compton. Like, he's wearing Carson on his back. So I'm
Yeah,
like,
man.
he wants to really put Carson on, like, in his way. So
Hey, Cash, when did you start really loving hip hop? You know how did you grow up around it?
Yeah, I mean, like I started rapping because of Lil Bow Wow. For
Go
sure.
ahead now.
Yeah, so like the girl
I
I,
love
liked
that.
the girl I liked in elementary school, she was in love with Bow Wow. So I was like, yeah, if I can be famous rapper kid, oh yeah, I can have them on. That's how I felt. But like I grew up in the church. My grandparents was preachers, so I was around like just music in that aspect. My dad played guitar and the bass. My brother played piano, like
In
messing
the
around.
church?
Yeah.
So how do you go from, you know how sometimes you in the church, and I hear a lot of people that's in the business say, man, we kind of started off in church.
It's your first stage.
How did your family feel when you go from being in church every Sunday and feeling that vibe to where you start to find your own creative
It's crazy.
juices?
It's crazy because like at the time, like I had to sneak to do it.
Yeah.
You know, like
But that's that passion too.
yeah, like growing up in I used to get watched at my grandparents' house. We couldn't even watch BET. So like you know how I used to have Nickelodeon on last, where I hit last on the remote.
Yeah. That last or previous
Yeah.
button. As soon
Yeah,
as you
for
hear
sure.
him coming in, you're like, "Toop."
Yeah, for sure. I was sneaking to watch 106 in Park and stuff like that. You know, so at first we were sneaking to do it, and I was I had like the support of like certain ones of my cousins and my brothers and stuff like that. But
that you can confide in.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But it was a while before like the rest of my family members, like my mom and et cetera, like really tapped into it. Especially because not only just the church aspect, my mom, she got 2 master's degrees. Like she was big on school. So it was like, you gonna work, you gonna go to school, or you know.
How were you like as a student growing up?
Man, I was smart, just lazy because I really didn't care about anything but music. Like young, I just knew like this is what I was gonna do. Like I knew this is what I was gonna do. So I worked everywhere under the sun. Like in Carson, I worked everywhere in the Carson
Like
Mall.
where?
Man, my first job
So
was
at least
Starbucks.
you worked though, yeah.
Yeah, I went from Starbucks to FedEx. I worked at Panera Bread for like 2 weeks. I worked at Old Navy.
So you know how to go get it. You ain't afraid of some work.
For sure, man. It was certain jobs like, man, I was there maybe like a week or 2 weeks, and I'm like, I'm out of here. Like the longest job I had was my last job, TSA. I was there for like 2 years.
Like at the airport?
This is what's crazy. So I was working the Delta Terminal, Terminal 2, right? And I'm there, I'm checking bags or whatever, and I hear your voice.
That's crazy.
And I'm like, oh, damn, that's Big Boy, right? So I walk up to you, and I'm like, man, what's up, Big Boy? Da, da, da. And I told you that I knew Elijah
Banks?
Yeah.
I heard that.
So I had to tell you, I was like, yeah, I know your artist. He was like, oh, yeah, for sure. Shook my hand and, you know.
Look how God worked, bro.
Yeah, for sure.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Did you steal my iPad? Yeah. About 2 years ago. No.
I took your phone. I didn't take the iPad.
Yeah. And the connections.
Yeah.
So when you go from a person
that's how it really meant for us.
Really though. Yeah. When you sold back my iPad. Hey man, so when you go from a person that loved listening to hip hop, a person that had to hide and watch BET and things of that nature, to actually saying I can do this.
Right.
When does that transformation happen? Had you always been writing?
Yeah, man. I always I'll say it like this, man. I knew what I wanted to do. I just didn't know how to do it.
Right.
So I feel like throughout the process, you do a lot of things that don't work, that don't make sense. You know, you move move backwards a whole lot. So I think what ended up happening was like 2017, I got shot, and after getting shot, I just was like, yo, like, all right, my body's too messed up to go back to work.
How many times you get hit?
3 times.
Damn. Where at?
Twice in my back, once in my stomach.
Oh man, that's a hell of an area, bro.
Yeah, for sure. And I was jacked up. Like when I got hit, like I dislocated my right elbow. The injury is called like a terrible triad. So I didn't have like the full range of motion in my arm for like a year. So I was jacked up.
Does it put you on path or does it kind of make you swerve?
Nah, it put
because it can go both ways. It could be like focus, or it could be like, okay, there's other things I need to do.
I dropped a freestyle from the hospital bed. It put me in a position where I was just like, yo, I'm not about to play with this because I literally can't go back to doing what I was doing before. Like my body jacked up. I can't be on my feet all day working TSA. I'm not about to be patting nobody down, checking bags, and then my nerves is bad.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like it's a lot of traffic coming in and out of the
airport. You learned a lot from that, huh?
Yeah, for sure.
Did it make, and not that you didn't enjoy it, Jayson Cash, but did it make you like appreciate life even more so and how serious it is?
For sure. You face mortality and like you hear about people getting shot all the time, or you hear about traumatic things or whatever, but when it's like that close to you, like, damn, this is real. Like I could have really been up out of here. And I remember like when I got shot, I was while I was waiting for the paramedics, I was like pleading with God for my life, and I was saying like, man, I'm not ready to go yet. Like I haven't accomplished anything, man. I don't even have kids. Like that's what was in my mind. So it's like when I got the opportunity to wiggle up out of that, it's like I'm not about to play.
And you remember that moment.
Man,
I called my
mom. I called my mom from the scene. I called my big brother. Like, hey, Hammy, I love you. If I don't make it, I want you to know that. I send my location to my homeboys and all that stuff in the scene. Like,
damn. And you know what's crazy about that too, man, is like some people use that as fuel for the goofy car. You know what I'm saying? Where it's like, oh, it validates and it's this, that, and the other. And then you get some people when you say, man, I haven't even had kids yet.
Yeah.
So when somebody say my life flashed before me,
Right.
did you have that moment?
Hell yeah. Like, if my brothers was here, I'm the second out of 5 boys. If my brothers was here, they were saying I'm not big on saying I love you or like hugging and stuff like that. So my youngest brother, at the time he might have been like 6, 7, because we're 19 years apart. So he was like 6 or 7 or whatever. And I was leaving the house, and instead of saying I love you to him, what I used to do is I used to pat my chest and point at him.
Right.
So he used to do the same thing. Like he'll lock the door and we'll pat our chest and point at each other. And I remember like thinking about that. I'm like, damn, like this about to mess baby J up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm thinking
at
about
that
it.
moment.
Right. And then my older brother, his son was going on 1. So I'm thinking about my nephew. I'm thinking about my brother. I'm just like, I remember start dropping tears. Like I'm getting emotional right now just thinking about it because it was for real. Like I really thought about that, and I'm like, hell no. Like I'm not going out like this. Like I'm not going out like this. I'm not ready to go. Nah.
Do you attack things different now? And not that we all got an expiration date.
Right.
But do you not procrastinate, or you know what I'm saying? Like, man, I haven't even did at that moment too. You're like, dude, I haven't even done my great work yet.
Bro, Fuzzy will tell you
all day.
Yeah.
I'm I-10 by 10.
Yeah, easy call.
Yeah.
Like I'm out there
For sure.
Man,
I be like, tomorrow too late. I be feeling like that just because like I know so much can change like just like that.
What did that do for your creative process?
So
did it make you write more? Did it make you get to the studio more? Or?
Yeah, I don't actually like write raps when I go in there. Like,
what's your process?
I'll go in the booth. I might line by line it. I might have a few lines and I just tie them together. But I think like I don't write raps at home or anything like that. Like I just when I go to the studio, and I think that kind of happened just because like you saying what you feel, so it's the stuff that's like fresh off your mind. And I've been doing it that way so long that it's easy for me to like. I guess it's still writing,
right? Yeah,
technically, but
creating.
I just don't write it down.
Did you do your music like that before getting shot?
Nah, I didn't.
That's crazy.
Actually. So also not to just say that getting shot changed the whole process, but you go from, I was recording at the Red Room in Hawthorne. Shout out to Drop Top Scott. I was recording there, and me and my homeboys Trey and Drew, we was piecing up on the studio time. So we was all 3 putting in like to get 4 hours. So at that time, you trying to have enough pre-written so when you go in there you can maximize those 4 hours. But I remember going there one day because I started off freestyling and stuff like that, and my big brother was telling me like, don't shy away from what you're good at. So I remember going in there to record one day, and I just kind of went in there and line by line the verse, and I'm like, oh dang, I could do this too. So then I just started doing that all the time. So then after even before getting signed, when I just started recording at different studios when I wasn't so rushed, I just kept doing that because it felt more natural. It felt more comfortable. It's what's natural to you. If I wrote it down, it's certain things with just like the language, the barriers in the language that you'll stop.
Right.
You don't see those.
No, and everybody had that
mind.
process, man, and everybody can't do it that way.
Nah, for
you know what I'm
sure.
saying? Are you born and raised in Carson?
Nah, I originally I lived in Lawndale, California before I lived in Carson. But I was in Carson all my life. Like my mom worked at Victoria Park, so I learned to swim at Victoria Park in Carson. My grandparents lived there, so I was getting watched there every day. But I always went to school like in the Lawndale, Hawthorne area. I went to Carson High, but yeah.
How important is it for you to carve out that piece of Carson? You know what I'm saying? Raz is Carson, right?
Yeah,
Raz your tribe. Yeah. Like we don't
Absol reason.
Yeah, and we don't get a lot of people that like the names that we just named, including yours, hell of a, because Carson is a small city too.
Nah,
though.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? But it doesn't get that light when somebody say L.A.
Right.
Or somebody say somebody say Compton, somebody say Watts. We got those bam. So how important is the city of Carson for you?
Very important for me, because like it made me a man. I lost my grandpa on Campbell Ave. I watched my uncle pass on Campbell Ave. Like this is all in the house that we lived in. My grandma, the last time I seen her was on Canberra Ave. So outside of anything else, like just on some the traumatic things that I went through that like shaped me as a man, like it happened there. My first real relationship, everything was there. So I found out who I was. I made my first jobs and getting my first car. It was like a 96, 97 Thunderbird that I drove through the city. Like when I lived in Carson, like every day was just like a learning experience from even like transitioning with even the gang culture. My family, like my dads, my uncles, and they're not from Carson. My mom and them, they grew up in the 60s.
Right.
My pops originally from like Mississippi and then moved to LA. Like they grew up in LA. I ain't have no like, oh, that's my uncle, star me out. I didn't have that.
Right.
So
Yeah.
as
Yeah.
I'm getting off the bus and walking home, like I'm getting banged on. Where you from, bro? I just told you I don't bang last week. I told you that yesterday.
Right. Yeah. But they probably made you joined last night.
Right.
Like,
for sure. So
double check that.
Yeah.
I told you yesterday. Hey man.
Real talk. But I went through all that there. So it's just like I feel like I owe the city because I wouldn't rap what I rap. I wouldn't talk what I talk. I wouldn't have the point of view that I have if it wasn't for Carson. So I try my best to pay back the city and like not a specific person or a specific group of people are paying back, but literally the city. So doing those things that I always say Carson, and I always, yell out where I'm from to shine a light that way. You might look in Carson a little different because, oh, dang, Ab-Soul came through there.
Right.
Cash came through there. Reason came through there. So, like, my best thing that I could do is shine a light because, like, the city gave me my light.
Do you when you look at the way that Carson is, you know what I'm saying? And when you say like, oh man, my family from here, I didn't have that card to say star me out. How did you not get caught up? Because we all get by association, affiliation, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, but how did you kind of stay on your path where it was music and it was, we dip our toe in certain things.
For sure.
Yeah.
I got to shout out my pops for that because, like, my dad, my mom, they used to really force us to go to church. I'm like, I was missing school dances to be at Bible study and all type of stuff like that, right? And when I got older, I asked my dad, I was like, man, why you let them force us to go to church like that? And he was just like, it was worse places you could have been.
Yeah, that's real.
And he was like, there's a lot of values that you learned in church that don't even have anything to do with religion. And that's true because that's what kept me from going too far.
Yeah.
Like I got some homeboys.
And you always had that little voice too.
Yeah,
huh?
for sure.
Hell
like,
yeah.
And I remember one time I got pulled over, right? And I had my homeboy was with me earlier in the day and he was smoking in my car. So it smelled like weed. So when they pulled me over, matter of fact, I'm in Downey and I'm going down the street and I see the police. I'm like, man, I know they're gonna stop me. It's like 2 a.m, but I keep going. I pull into the gas station. I jump out like I'm about to pump gas.
They hip to that too.
Get back in the car. So I get back in the car, right? And they smell the weed. They like, it's enough to pull you out. So they pull me out the car. They searching the car. They tested me like for like a DUI or something like that, right? And they're like, yo, so when's the last time you smoked? I didn't smoke, right? And they like, well, we're gonna have to take you to the county, man. We're gonna do a blood test or whatever. And in my mind, my first thought is, damn, how do I explain to my little brother I went to jail?
Yeah.
How do I explain this to my mama that I went to jail? And I'm like, I'm grown,
Oh
like
yeah.
I'm grown. But I thought about that, and that's the same way I always thought that kept me from going too far because it's like, even when my grandparents was alive, it's like, yo, I can't explain to grandma that I went to jail.
And then, and there's sometimes too, Cash, where you got to have like, not you got to, but there's these things that I call the enoughs. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people don't have the enoughs. And you probably got to be book smart enough, hood enough, gangster enough, corporate enough, this enough. You know what I'm saying? And it seems like you cover your enoughs well. And not that you checking off boxes.
Nah.
But just as a human being. Yeah, but it's authentic.
Yeah, for sure. Like I always say, like, life is a balancing act.
Yeah, man.
Like with everything, you know what I'm saying? From your family, from your priorities to just everything, it's all about finding a balance. And the hard part about the position that I'm in is that the only thing that's really constant in my life is change. So like just yesterday, I never sat down and talked to Big Boy. Today, I'm sitting down talking to Big Boy, and that changes my trajectory. So now I'm gonna have to learn how to balance what happens after this. Because I've been living one way for so long, and that's really hard because your family, your friends, they've seen you as one way all your life. Like I'm just Jayson to my auntie. You know what I'm saying? You've been that one way your whole life, but it's like I got to be Jayson Cash every day.
Yeah.
Like I have to be that, and a lot of people don't really understand that, but I'm smart enough
Yeah. Yeah.
and I love them enough.
Yeah.
And
Those are the enoughs, man.
I'm fair enough that what I mean, that I'm able to find a healthy balance for myself.
Hey, man, and you look at certain things, with growing up. When we look at things in the rearview mirror, it's like, okay, well, I changed when I got to middle school. I changed when I got here. I changed when I got there. I swiveled over here, getting shot. And now you're a dad.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So when we start talking about dividing and balancing and all that stuff, man, you Jayson to the family, Jayson Cash to the homies, Jayson Cash to the fan base, but now you dad.
Yeah, I'm Carter's
And,
daddy.
yeah, and you think at one point, like, man, I got to get out there. I got to hustle. I got to do this. Now you got to take these so-called calculated risks. There's somebody else that's totally involved that makes, that's bigger than any decision that you make.
For sure.
How is that now with Carter? And how old is
Carter's 6 months.
6. Oh, so, man, yeah, this is a lifetime, bro.
Yeah.
So how did that change you?
Everything.
Yeah.
You know how some people walk around feeling like they don't owe anybody anything? Like, I owe Carter everything.
Yeah, man.
Like, everything. So, for one, I wasn't going to BS this for me.
Mm-hmm.
Damn sure ain't going to BS it for Carter.
But, if you look at certain things, Jayson Cash, and you say, like, man, I can't tell my brother that I was in jail. I can't tell my aunt, and
I would have had to explain all that to Carter, too.
Now it's Carter with your baby girl. That's totally different. I always tell people, man, I say, man, like Fuzz had Parker before I had my kids, and I would see the bond there. But people could tell you certain things, but you don't understand it. When people say, oh, sleep now, you're like, you don't know what you're missing. My dog is like my baby.
Yeah.
Then when you have your first, your second, third, it's a whole different world. And Natalia just had her son, right?
Yeah.
And I tell people, I say, man, you've never fallen in love with something faster in your life.
Yeah.
No car, no significant other, no check, no nothing that you will hold instantly and say, I would kill for you. I would kill.
Because that's yours.
Killed. Exactly.
Like, when music, like, I love music so much, but it's like, this is something that's been mine all my life, and it's not mine anymore. Like, I have to, you share it with the world, you share it with your A&R, you share it with management, whatever. Like, Carter's mine.
Yeah, bro.
Like,
and you think about that. Everything now is calculated. It's like, now I got to get to the crib. Now we got to do this. We got, like, when I didn't have kids, 3-4 clubs a night. Yeah, let's fuzz. Let's go. Let's go get that. Let's go get that. Let's go get that. Then I got to a point where I was like, nah, bro.
To the house.
Yeah. I'm at the living room. I can't do it. It didn't make it made me a square. It made me a circle, bro.
Man.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm like,
I remember, like, Carter was maybe like 2 weeks or like a month, and I was holding her, and I just started crying, and I was thinking to myself, like, I've never felt this obligated in my life.
Yeah.
And it's like, the feeling is, man, you can't even explain it. Like, it's literally watching your heart outside of your body.
Mm-hmm. And I think anybody that has a child that give a damn about it too, because I know some people, I be like, damn, bro, like, what?
even that,
name
like,
your kids in 7 seconds, they're like, oh man,
I promise you, like, when you have a kid and you give it them, you think like, damn, I don't know how people just be so scandalous. Like, it's crazy. Man.
Let's talk about the music, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like now we talk about life, we talk about how you get there, what the journey is. Was there ever a time, bro, when you felt like I'm on and you weren't?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know how when it's like, oh man, it's about to go down, man.
A bunch of times.
So, yeah, you know what I'm saying? And that's why I say, bro, I and probably a lot of people in here, people think like, oh, you got it. But I'm like, man, I failed more than everybody possibly in this room because all of us have tried. You know what I'm saying? If somebody listened to a phone tap and say, oh man, I love Luther Through Faith. Yeah. You didn't hear all the stuff that didn't stick.
Right.
So were there times where you thought like, man, I'm on, man, Jayson Cash, this is it.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
1,000 times.
Yeah, man.
But like, even when I was talking about like meeting Fuzzy, I was taking those meetings, right? I thought I was on in.
Yeah, man.
But I had just got shot. I had just came into some money from, being a victim of a violent crime. Like, I had this bread. I'm taking these meetings.
Yeah.
I blew through the bread. I'm like, I'm about to sign a deal.
Like, what are you talking about?
I went completely broke. I had a 2016 Kia Forte. I was parking it around the corner, man, hiding from the repo, man.
Yeah, that's crazy, huh?
And even in the process, I'm still looking to park because I done bought so many clothes and shoes. And like, now I'm around stuff, I'm around people, but I'm broke as hell.
Right.
Don't know what's about to happen. You know what I'm saying? But I just figure, I'm like, I'm gonna keep up a look if that's one thing.
What's the project now? What's happening now?
Well, right now we're releasing singles and getting leading to the EP. You know what I mean?
So you coming EP first?
Yeah, for sure. for sure.
And with all I know, you shot that around the house.
Yeah, I shot that in Carson.
Yeah, man.
And I shot it on so like the street signs in there is Cyrene and Canberra, but that's not even the block that I grew up on. I grew up on Canberra, but on the other side, I shot it right there because my homeboy Trey, that's the house I used to record at. I used to plot at. I used to sit there in his room. I was rapping my verses to him before I recorded them. So like that's really the block where in Carson outside of recording in my grandma's house, that's when I first left out the crib and started doing something else. Like his brother T had built a booth in the room. I was recording over there every day. So my first video on a major label, like I went back to the block where we were starting at.
And what about the peers? Like, you know, at one point we're fans, you know,
Yeah.
and we still remain fans.
Yeah.
But then we get recognized by our peers as well. Like, man, you on. Like, has there been anyone that you've seen that know who you are that you like, damn, like, oh shoot, they know Jayson Cash?
I would say, like deeper than that, the craziest thing was just Dr. Dre.
Yeah.
Man, I'm talking. He fuzzy FaceTiming me in the studio, and it's like, my voice is cracking.
Yeah.
He like, yeah, man, you gotta come slap hands with me, man. I want to put eyes on you. I'm like, for sure.
You're like, hell yeah. Like, we're going to leave this session now.
Hey, we did that.
You're like,
We
we're gonna,
did.
we're like, we're going to leave this session now. Like, yeah.
So we went the first day, and he said the same thing. He was like, you know, Fuzz don't just, you know, bring just anybody.
Yeah, bro.
So he made me write something before he even listened to my music. So, you know, I ended up writing something with him, and then he listened to the music. I'm playing a record, and he stopped me to tell me, like, you know, I lived in Carson for a little bit. Like, my mom had a store in Carson. I'm like, yo, I'm tripping. You know, so then before we leave, we talking. This is when my daughter's on the way, and, like, I'm getting, like, dad advice from Dr. Dre. Like, I'm tripping. So then we go back over there after that for, like, to watch a Laker game. And now he talking to me like he know me. So, like, we in there working, and then he, like, saying, Jayson, what you think about that, Jayson? I'm like, Dr. Dre calling me by my first name.
In your head, are you thinking, like, do I say Andre back to him?
Man, I'm thinking, should I change my number tomorrow?
Hey, man, so is there anything with the relationship with Dre? Would it be something down the road, or is there something closer to you right now?
I hope so.
Right. And when you say you write, do you write for a lot of others as well?
Yeah, I have.
Do you ghost write or you name write?
Nah, I'm not a ghostwriter.
Right. Oh, okay.
I need all mine.
Yeah, hell yeah. You're like, man, like, nah.
I need all mine.
So how has that worked for you? Anybody that we would know?
Damn, I don't want to do nobody.
Yeah, see, so
Nah, but I mean, like, the Scooby-Doo movie came out during the pandemic. Me, Blast, and Simba wrote on the Jack Harlow record.
what does Blast, Simba, and Jayson Cash look like creatively? Creatively, bro.
Man, crazy. A lot of, like, one of the homies pushing each other, like, Blast, you gotta say it like this.
Oh,
or,
my
like,
God,
Simba, do it
bro.
in that voice. Yeah, so I've worked with, I've done that.
Are you a part of Space Jam as well?
Yeah, I'm on a record on there that I wrote on.
And it's on?
It's a record on the song. It's a Sweetie, Cash Doll, and Salt and Pepper record that I wrote on.
Damn. Oh, so you write from all perspectives.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what real writers do.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah, you ever heard that song, And I Will Always Love You? By Dolly Parton and Whitney Houston.
You
did?
wrote that?
No. I was just asking if you ever heard it. Yeah. I
You never know, man.
just want to check your card, see see what you
Yeah.
listening to.
Nah, yeah, but and also, like, a lot of times, especially with certain people, it's not so much like writing for somebody. A lot of times, it's like writing with them.
Right.
You know, like I worked a lot on the Mozzie and YG project that they dropped. Like, me and Blast, we worked. I helped Blast a little bit on that hook on Perfect Timing.
What's the relationship with you and Blast?
Man, that's my dog.
Beyond the music?
Yeah, like, I've known Blast since I was like 16.
Damn.
Yeah.
So
What
y'all
were you guys
seen
like back then?
What you mean?
Like, who were you guys at 16?
I was Cash and he was Blast at
Still
the time
the same?
too. Yeah.
Hey man, were you really Jayson Cash at 16?
It was B Cash the Monster.
See? Yeah, we all had names before.
And
Fuzzy,
Blast
the
was-
only person I know that came out the womb, Fuzzy.
And Blast was T Blast.
Were you ever a part of a group?
Man, something like that. I was a part of a few different collectives. Like even like when I was saying B Cash, I was a part of this thing called the LA Bully Camp. So it was Bully Cash. So
Can you imagine if you would have kept that name now with all this cancel culture?
Yeah. So
You
then
know what I'm saying?
So then I was just Cash, and I remember my brother said to me, he was like, "Yo, do you think like your name just being Cash might hinder you from things like just Cash? Like your music don't match just somebody just named Cash." So then there's a good guy by the name of Kendrick Lamar
Yes,
that
sir.
used his name. So I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna put Jayson. And it's crazy because even going by Jayson Cash, nobody like none of my homies call me Jayson. If the homie call me Jayson, he trying to be funny.
Really?
Yeah.
So what do they call you, Jayson Cash?
They just
Or
call me Cash.
Damn. Now, but with Jayson Cash,
Yeah.
your name is Jason, Jayson,
Yeah.
and Cash is where did the cash come from?
Man, because I was always money even when I didn't have it.
I
I was one
heard
of them
that.
kids that went to school that came home with an iPod. Or, it's like, oh, somebody gave me this, mom.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, I was always.
Why not Jason Thief? You know
Uh,
what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Jason
Yeah.
Get Over.
Yeah.
From the Get Over gang. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, the
Nah,
Get
yeah.
Over gang with Duke Morgan in them.
Nah, yeah, I was one of them kids, man. It was like I remember I might have been in like first, second, I don't know. It was in elementary school though, but it was a dude named Tajon that I went to school with, and another dude named Davion. So Tajon was T Money, Davion was D Money, and I was J Money.
Oh,
And then
shoot.
we switched to Cash.
Damn, that's a good thing you had to get off that name because my son call himself J Money right now.
Yeah, for real.
Hate to see you have to fight a 14-year-old, but
Yeah.
but leave that. Now you mentioned Kendrick Lamar, man.
Yeah.
What is
My goat.
Damn, you said it. Why do you say Kendrick Lamar as opposed to the GOAT? You say my GOAT.
My goat. Because I mean, like, greatest of all time is subjective.
Mhm.
And like I don't like to argue opinions, that's facts.
Yeah,
But like you can't tell me that he's not my goat.
right. That's real.
Can't.
Why is he your GOAT?
And Kendrick is beyond words, man. Like,
Mhm.
and then I got to see it. Like I really got to see it. Like
How so?
I went to school with Top Dog's daughter. So I remember one time I was like 19. Me and my brother, we was at the 7-Eleven in Carson, and we talking about rap. We talking about, man, Big Sean need to drop Finally Famous Volume 3. And the dude walk up, he's like, oh, y'all like rap? All right, so check this out. Give me a J-Rock Black Friday mixtape and a Kendrick Lamar EP. It's Top Dog. Didn't know it at the time, but it was Top Dog. So my brother is like, yo, my little brother rap. So he like, okay, come back to the studio. So we go around the corner into Stevenson Village on the block, and my brother's playing his beats. He was making my beats at the time. So my brother's playing the beats, and I started rapping, you know, and I'm rapping. Like I said, I started off freestyling. So like Top Daughter come out, I'm saying what's up to her as I'm rapping. He was like, and she like, yo, I told you about this, the dude I was telling you about. So anyway, finished rapping or whatever.
So when you saw him and he handed you the music, you didn't know that
Nah, I
that was
didn't know
like
it was-
the dog, like it wasn't
know-
planned.
nah.
Damn.
Nah, cause this was.
So she had already told Pops, like she already told Top, like
for sure.
she knew.
Like I
somebody.
knew it was Top Dog Entertainment, but like this is like 2010.
Right, yeah.
So like it's like J-Rock is on the van and all that stuff. Like it's not like the biggest song is probably like the J-Rock and Lil Wayne record at the time. So I finished rapping and this dude walk up to me like, yo, you hard, take my number down. I'm K-Dot.
Damn.
And I looked next to him, it's a dude with a Q tattoo on his face.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying?
man.
So yeah, like that happened. And so they told us to come back to the studio, but I didn't have a car. My brother was working for MTA. He had to go to work the next day, so we didn't go. And my brother had listened to the Kendrick Lamar EP, and he hit me like, "Yo, that dude that gave us the tape, he's fire." Listen to it. I look on the website, like Kendrick is rapping over the Monster and all that stuff. I'm like, "Yo, this dude is crazy." So I look on the website. I submit some music to the TDE website, and Dave Free hit me back. Like, so he was emailing me back and forth. And Kendrick's first show at the Key Club is coming up, so they're doing an in-store in Carson.
That's crazy.
So I pull up. It's crazy. I had just finished getting my first tattoo. Like, I got my grandpa's. Before I go in, I asked my mom, I said, would you get mad if I get grandpa name tatted? She's like, no, I went and got it that day.
Yeah, before
So
she changed her mind.
so I'm leaving from the
boom.
tattoo shop, and I pull up to Magic Disc, and I see Dave, and I walk up. I'm like, yo, I'm Cash. I'm the dude that you've been emailing back and forth. He's like, oh yeah, take my number down, stick around. So I get in the line, you know, on some fan stuff. Like I'm, you know, trying to get my picture with Q, Kendrick, or whatever. At the time, Q got 2 songs out. It's Kamikaze and Put In Work. And he got like maybe like 2,000 Twitter followers.
Oh.
So I'm tweeting his lyrics so much that he know my Twitter just from, me tweeting his lyrics. So I walk up to Q. I'm like, I'm Cash on Twitter. He like, oh yeah, for sure. I'm gonna follow you back or whatever. So boom. And I tell him about that night. So then I get in the line, I get to Kendrick and I'm like, I take the picture. I'm like, yo, I met you before. I was like, I rap for you like 2 in the morning. He was like, I remember, stick around. So then I go to the first headline show, and maybe like I still got the DMs to this day. Like maybe like a couple weeks later, Q was about to do his, and Q DM me. He goes, you know all the words to my songs? I'm like, hell yeah. He was like, be front row, I'm gonna put you on stage. So he put me on stage.
Hell no.
Yeah, at the Key Club, and I performed a song off Setbacks called Situations with him. So then 2 months after that, him and Ab-Soul do a show together, and he let me perform that with him again. Like I was standing in there, and Dave see me in the crowd and bring me backstage, and I end up performing that again. So like that's like being around them, seeing that early. Like when they passed Kendrick the torch, like to the West Coast,
Yeah.
I was standing on the stage, like I seen it. Like I seen them backstage crying, like I seen it with my own eyes. You feel me?
Hell
So
yeah.
like just seeing that, like I thank God because being close enough to see that stuff let me know just how possible it was. Like when
Hell
I dropped
yeah.
my single, like Q's DJ MacWop, he posted it, like he posted my record and then he DM'd me. He was like, man, I'm just so proud of you for sticking with it and doing it your way. You know what I mean? Because they all see me young. Like when we was getting ready to mix records, me and Fuzz put up on Ali, and I'm like, we talking about the history of just how much I was around and how much things that I seen just on some like being close enough on some fan stuff.
Hey man, it's crazy that I always call it Jayson Cash. I call it tuition into the school of experience.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing that you could pay to get that. You know
Nah.
what I'm saying? To get being able to look at something or feel something or see something or see an emotion get pulled on stage. Like there's no amount of
sure.
money that you can pay for that so-called experience. Like, oh yeah, you get this and it's a booklet that you follow.
Yeah.
So being right there and having those moments and also being so close to something that you think it's gonna take off for somebody,
for sure.
but the way that it took off,
Yeah.
and then seeing who was next, like, oh yeah, Dot and them, they probably maybe then next, boom,
Yeah.
they go.
Right.
So
right,
now
right.
it's just like when you kind of at that amusement park and you buckled in and you see that car in front of you take off, you're like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
I done did everything. I done secured my belt. I done waited in line.
Yeah.
My car about to take off.
Nah, for sure. And that's the blessing for being able to be able to see it up close. And those are things like when you get discouraged that you hold on to, because like look at Blast. Like Blast is
Yeah,
scorching.
man. Yeah.
Like I said, I've been around him for a long time. Like before it was cracking like this. You know what I mean? Like when I mentioned it being in the Red Room, like Blast was in those sessions. When I met Fuzzy that day, I took Blast with me when I had my meeting at Capitol. You feel me? So like I watched bro just take off, and now like I'm about to drop my second single and he on it. While he just this the first record that's coming out since he's got the XXL cover and et cetera. And it's like I told him I was at him and Bino shot a video like last week, and I was telling him like, bro, you didn't have to do that. He was like, I did.
But it's authentic though.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I'm saying? So it's definitely authentic. You were talking about the tattoos with grandpops. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? How many tats do you have now?
Man,
They don't let you have it, huh?
man, for real.
You got one, like,
Yeah, man. It's funny because I was working TSA, and I was saying like I never like touch down here because I always work
right.
jobs, but they had changed the policy where you can have visible tats. Man,
Once they told you that,
man, I went and hit my forearm. 2 weeks later, I had another one.
what did they mean to you though? Because I know you got your grandfather, right?
Yeah, everything.
So you're not just in the shop doing like
No.
pointing at the-
I don't have anything like I don't have anything on me that don't mean something. Everything on me is important for sure. I've never got a meaningless tattoo.
Man, I'm gonna
Hey,
have to
bro,
make sure
I got
you.
Kobe on my hand.
That's what I was
Like,
going to ask. It looked like him, but I couldn't tell because his hand was like
Yeah.
I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
So
that's my
I'll
goat
ask, why
as
Kobe?
well. That's my goat as
Yeah.
well. Like love Kobe with all my heart. Like I don't even have to sit here. And that was, that's how I felt all my life.
Mm-hmm.
Like I grew up, I watched Kobe. I didn't watch nobody else. I watched Kobe.
It wasn't in death; it's in life. You know how you
What?
love something in life? You're like, nah,
Man, I didn't got into arguments, just like going to school, like getting into arguments, falling out with friends for Kobe slander. I don't play,
He
bro.
said
Like
Kobe
to this,
slander.
like
Hell
to this
yeah.
to this day, like when I see people
this
say,
day!
man, to this day, if I see somebody say something sideways about Kendrick on Twitter, I'll block them.
Right.
I don't care if like
Yeah, bro.
I don't care who you are to me. Like it's
Did you have the Kobe before Kobe passed?
Nah, I got it.
What did it mean after?
Man, I got it like maybe a
And it's
day
so
or two
visual.
Yeah, I got it a day or two after. And I was one of those things because, like, again, I have so many tattoos that I didn't really have space visibly for you to be able to see it. Like, my arms is
Like
covered.
you wanted that to be
I'm
seen.
like, man, I'm not getting this hidden. Like, I need it on display. So I put it on my hand.
And what was the thoughts on Nipsey as well, man?
Man, I got my own money inside too.
Yeah.
Like, Nipsey's another person I love with all my heart. Like, after I got shot, when he dropped Victory Lap, I pulled up to the Marathon store, and I remember he had just I had just seen a video of him letting somebody rap for him. So I asked him, "Can I rap for him?" He's like, "Yo, it's a lot going on today. Like, come back during the week or whatever." But when I seen him,
And you didn't take that no other way, but
nah,
I
hell no, he was super cool
yeah.
about it. But
was that the day when we did the ribbon cutting ceremony, like when they reopened?
Nah, this was after. This was
Okay.
after that. So I had said to him, you know, like, I was telling him, like, I'm fresh off getting shot. Like, listening to you, like, kept my mind right.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you gave me like a blueprint of just how to wiggle through, not just my physical adversity, but just adversity. Period. You know, like, you was the soundtrack to like my recovery process. Like, I remember like going in listening to Nip before physical therapy and stuff like that. Like, you know, it's times where even now, like before sessions, like we would just sit there and just play Nip.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like it might be like I'm talking about, oh, bullets ain't got no name. Like, nah, like love Nip for sure.
And special from the beginning. You know, we all knew how dear after.
Yeah.
But even, man, when Nip was here, man, we knew how special that
Nah,
dude
yeah,
was.
for sure. When I was younger, man, I remember my homeboy Rio. He had like a '96 Camry with the windows was busted like just a bucket, and we was riding around in there every day bumping the Marathon. Like, that was like our soundtrack. Like, we was every day. You feel me?
Does it trip you out too, Jayson Cash, that the way that you looked at others, there's somebody looking
Yeah.
at you, and they'll even look at you even more?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It
Does it make you treat people different?
Nah, because
But the reason why I ask that, right, is because you have great fond memories of people that could have kind of dookied on you.
Right.
Or you know what I'm saying?
I've had those experiences for sure.
And you're not bringing them up because it meant something different to you.
Yeah.
So when you take the times when it didn't go right with people that you met and it did go right with people that you met, does it make you appreciate somebody coming up to you even more?
For sure. Like, but I was raised to treat people
Right.
Period. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Character's what's being said about you when you're not in the room.
nah, for sure. And integrity is what you do when you think nobody looking.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm big on that.
Don't be trying to battle me with this.
Hey, man.
Didn't that feel like we was in like a little battle or
A
something?
little bit. Like
I
ping,
raised
ping,
you one.
ping.
Yeah, I
You
know.
But nah, yeah. My little nephew, I told him one day because he was acting up in daycare, and I told him, I'm like, you know, the Jackson way is doing the right thing even when nobody's looking. You know, that's my last name, Jackson. So when he goes to daycare, it'd be days I call him, I'm like, did you do the Jackson way today? Or if he act up, he was like, Uncle Jason, I didn't do the Jackson way.
He gonna remember that for a lifetime.
Nah,
bro.
for sure.
Yeah, man.
But I owe him that. You know, I owe my brother that for just, you know, I didn't always do the Jackson way.
Right.
You know, so like
That's life too. That's
Nah,
that's
for
human being.
For sure. So I be thinking like, for all the teachers that I talked too crazy when I was a kid, and then I become an adult and realize like I wouldn't let no kid talk to me like that. You know, like I try to make sure I treat people with respect. Like when I'm in stores, I like to acknowledge people. You know what I mean? I hold doors, I open doors. Like that's just how I was.
And my
you know, I
thing
was
is,
raised.
man, I always say it's just add water. If you're a giving person and you love people, so on and so forth, you just add water, and what that means, like the more people that's going to know your name, the more people you're going to be even more of giving.
Yeah.
You know, more of a person that's positive to people. Then if if you're an asshole, just add water, you're gonna become a bigger asshole.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because this thing this so-called power or this fame, whatever you want to put on the title of it, it could be your gift and your curse.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And you got to watch out for it, man. Like when I say your gift can be your curse, it's so true. You can walk into a room and not have to ask about this female, that female can come to you.
Right.
You can get the best this, you can get but it depends on like, man, don't let your gift be your curse. I know somebody that wanted this certain car, they got it and they killed themselves in it.
Damn, that's crazy.
You know what I'm saying? So but I think you're level-headed for anything that you want to do. Like my thing is radio, right?
Uh-huh.
But I would have been cool in being I would have been the coolest janitor. I would
Right,
have been
right,
the coolest cook.
Yeah.
Whatever I would have
Yeah,
fell
yeah, yeah.
into, people would have been like, yeah, man, I F with that janitor right there.
Nah, for sure. Like my grandma used to say, like, if you stay faithful over a few things, the Lord will make you ruler over many. So like I always try to like do everything that I do the best way that I do it and like the same way. Unless I'm doing it wrong and I'm gonna make some improvements or something. But I try to be true to whatever it is in a sense because it bleeds into everything else. Like rapping is easy. Like that's the easy part.
Yeah, for you.
Like, that's what I mean. You know what I mean? Like just like radio is the easy part for you.
No, radio is extremely hard.
Yeah.
Don't do that shit.
Yeah.
Fuzzy got a podcast now that
Yeah.
I'm watching more than I'm
Yeah,
watching
yeah.
my own stuff.
Yeah. It's just like, it's all the extras.
Mm-hmm.
It's all the extras that make it difficult.
man.
But it's like I just stay faithful to what I'm good at, and I stay faithful to what I know, and it bleeds in. It attracts people that Fuzzy has a softer approach than I do. So I don't gotta talk this way to somebody because Fuzzy gonna do that.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it attracts the people to plug your holes. Pause.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was HOLES. You
Yeah.
know, the cancer culture is deal.
Right.
It's real
I'm
up
sorry
there.
about that.
But no, I gotta ask you this too, man. Did you feel like when we were going through that 2020 and that pandemic year,
Uh-huh.
did you stay locked into the music as far as creating,
Yeah.
or did you feel like, or did you get kind of knocked off your square with like everything else?
Hell no.
Yeah.
I was still in the I was recording at home. For one, I was recording at home, and then we kind of got back into the studio before things was open. Like we wasn't back in our studio, but we was going to other studios.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say like I made some of my best music during the pandemic
Right.
because it's like that's all you got.
Yeah, the world had to sit down.
Yeah,
It
for
wasn't
sure.
like somebody was out. We were working, but it wasn't like somebody was on this festival or somebody was doing this or somebody.
Yeah.
We were all trying to say what this pivot looked
I
like.
feel it was like back to the basics. It's back to what you know.
Yeah, man.
You know what I mean? So like for the most part, the majority of artists that came up that way, recording in the house or recording in the closet or whatever, is like you got away from that. But if you know how to do it, most of the people that's been really doing it for a long time, they know how to work Pro Tools. They know how to do, a lot of that stuff. So I know how to do that. So I got back to what I knew.
Hey, man, let me tell you, Jayson Cash, like there and when we say, oh man, when you said, I didn't sit down with Big Boy yesterday, I sit down with Big Boy today.
Right.
You earned that seat.
Nah, for sure.
I've been
I
watching
believe
how
that.
you've been working. I watch Fuzz, you know what I'm saying? And Fuzz worked with a lot of artists that he's never brought to me.
Nah, for sure.
You know what I'm saying? And I don't mean as a manager, but just, he was a record promoter, so on and so forth. Fuzz, no, don't clutter. We don't abuse our relationship.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? This isn't a favor. This
Right.
is, so when
I'm glad you're saying that too.
and it's real talk, bro.
Yeah.
It's real talk because I've been watching. Have I been watching more so because I know Fuzz? But I'm not goofy where I'm going to bring somebody and sit down
for sure.
and just talk with them just
You know,
because.
when I met Day Day at Snoop compound,
See,
she,
everybody know Day Day.
Yeah. I met her at Snoop's compound, and she said to me, we were just talking regular because I was with Blas, and I believe she had told Blas to come up there. So like I came up there, and we talking, and she asked me my name, and I told her, she was like, we was just talking about you at Big's house.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh yeah, damn,
Hey,
that's
man,
crazy.
and it's real in the field. And I'm going to tell you too, bro. I've seen a lot of people. Like, I can't wait to see what your journey look like because I've seen it before.
Right.
And it's not like, oh, I've seen it before, and I've
Yeah.
seen it. But I've seen it before, and I'm excited for you.
Man,
And I'm talking about, man, I done seen everybody, a lot of people sit in that seat. Bro.
nah, no, man, like I said, I grew up listening to y'all.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like my first time making money, my dad used to take me to his job, and the radio just play. So like when you mentioning the phone taps and Luther Lufe and all that stuff, it's like, bro, like that was my soundtrack.
Yeah, man.
My dad taking me to school. Like,
And
that's
now
what we
you
was
got to
listening
think,
to.
now you are soundtrack.
Nah, yeah,
That's
that's
crazy, though.
Real.
Yeah, like my dad, it clicked with him. Like, damn, like you really doing this when he seen Fuzzy managing me.
Yeah.
He like Fuzzy.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I was like,
And
yeah.
you know what? I'm so excited for what's about to happen for y'all too. And I was
Yeah.
talking to my wife. I was like, "Baby," I said, "This is it."
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like this is it, man. And you got a good dude with you, bro.
Right. I was telling Fuzzy, man, I'm like, as far as like music, I had to work a whole bunch of years to even be in a position for this to make sense.
Yeah, man.
And the same way while I was doing that, you was doing what you was doing. So I'll never make you look bad. I never you know, when you bring me in front of everybody, I'm gonna put my best effort for it because I understand you putting your name on the line.
Yeah, and Fuzz also, man, like when you say like Fuzz here, you there, and then y'all meet up. You know what I'm saying? And this, I don't know what his thing is, but you know, it's that 10,000 hours. It's that outliers. Like, man, you know, like you ready. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You ready, bro. And all you got to do is put a little bit of this with that you already have, and you good to go, bro. And it was a pleasure bringing you into the neighborhood, man. You got the name of the project that's coming yet?
Nah, not yet.
Are we coming this summer?
I see what you did
there. Yeah. Are you coming this summer?
Take
your time.
No, we got singles coming this summer.
I heard that, bro.
You know, we got singles coming this summer.
But take your time, brother.
This year, though.
And I love to see what's going down, bro.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Man, there it is. Jayson Cash in the neighborhood, Big Boy's neighborhood.
Carson.